Preparing to go live, which means we might be live. We are live. I will call the meeting to order for March 12th. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Just spell it wrong. Good morning. I think everybody here knows that, what? Yep, this started. To sign in, please. And if you come to the microphone, say it and spell your name. We have a couple announcements. Commissioner Rick Meyer will not be here this morning. Take that off. I attended a meeting yesterday at the Forest Service location in Helena. There were probably at least 40 people there. Packed room. I'm part of the Bedrock, which is Big Elk Divide Restoration Committee. And there was Forest Service, BLM, DNRC, retired and active. Game wardens were there. And that committee that I just spoke about. They tried very hard and did a good job in not making it political, but the conversation was about the layoffs, concerns with game wardens, law enforcement. Mostly it was about fire, and they're really concerned about the staff for fighting fires if it happens this spring or summer. So it was a really good, really great meeting, and I will write up some notes from it. I did not have time. Out of that, we will post this fire protection meeting. It will be April 2nd, Helena Middle School. And it's called The Fire Problem. So they wanted us to try to get the word out as much as possible. Some of the current staff at DNRC, Forest Service, people need to be kind to them. They're doing the best job that they can. If there were 4 people working on a project, there now might be 1. So just be kind to their staff, and potentially more than ever, especially if you live out in the rural areas, out in the county, you need to make sure your area around your house is as protected as you possibly can. They're expecting, they hope not, but they're expecting slower response times because of less staff. So it was a really good meeting. I'm going to talk to the paper today or tomorrow, and hopefully they can maybe do an article about it. It's just about preparation. And there's some really sad and upset federal employees. There's 3,500 federal employees in Lewis and Clark County. So it kind of put, if 20% of those are let go, and the trickle-down effect of maybe they can't make their insurance payment or whatever. So it potentially could affect all of us, the counties included. Motor vehicles. At noon today, they will close for any transactions and be closed all day Thursday and Friday. They will be back up with their new system Monday. They ask for patience. It's a brand new system. They've had training on it, but with any new system, there's going to be hiccups. So hopefully if you're listening and you need to do something with your vehicle, in this county, you'll have to wait till Monday. That's my list of announcements. Do you have anything else, Jesse?
I don't. No, that's enough.
I know, right? We'll take public comment on any subject not on the agenda that the commission has jurisdiction over. Is there any public comment?
My name is Lois Christensen.
You have to talk into the microphone and spell your name, please.
Lois Christensen, CHRISTENSEN. And I don't know if there's anything that you can do about this, but it's a question I've had since last summer. And all of the neighbors, we live in Meadow subdivision, And all of our neighbors that had gardens had trouble with our gardens last year. We got spots. One of my apple trees had spots all over the leaves, and I sprayed at different times to negate that. And my tomatoes, I probably got a handful of tomatoes. My carrots, I generally have 3 5-gallon crocks in the basement in my root cellar. I didn't even have a half of a 5-gallon bucket of carrots. And a lot of the stuff I just had to pull and take to the dumps. And anyway, when I went to the dumps, I was telling, they ask you what you've got. And so I said, I've got stuff I've got to put over there. It's garden stuff that's got spots on it and is dying. Oh, he said, you're not the only one. He said, we've had a lot of it this year. What I'm wondering is, because we live in a rural subdivision that's surrounded by farm ground, and we have a tremendous amount of aerial spraying. I grew up on a farm, so I know what that's like. I know the farms are getting bigger and bigger, and aerial spraying is the more practical way and the least expensive way probably to get their fields sprayed. But I have a garden because I believe that it is the most nourishing and healthy food that I can get, is stuff that I grow in my own yard. One of my cherry trees is dead, and another one, and that happened the year before, but another one, I didn't even get I don't think I even got a Cool Whip thing of cherries out of it. And I didn't hardly get any apples. And it is because we live at the end of Canyon Ferry, the wind comes down, I can see the reservoir from my window in my kitchen. Okay. The wind comes down this, and there's mountains on both sides. We get a lot of wind out by 284. Today, again, is really windy out. And what do we do about that? How do we know? Is it aerial? The neighbors we all kind of think it might be aerial spraying because there's a lot of it that goes on. But it's people's living. So what's the answer to something like this? This is huge problem for me. I have a big garden. My strawberry bed is probably 12 feet by 10 feet. Cherries, apples, plums. Didn't get any plums hardly.
Lois, I hear what you're saying, and I also love to garden, but that is out of our realm of any responsibility.
Okay, and I thought it would be. I just wondered, who do I ask about? I feel bad for the farmers. I know that they're trying to.
And you're not, to be honest, you're not going to stop that. So I
suppose.
don't know. And Allison Costo can help you with, bugs in your garden, or she's genius on all things gardening.
Yeah, I know, and I could bring in. I don't know. One of our neighbors was going to bring in one, because to plant it and then just have to throw it out is so defeating.
Please talk into the microphone.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, if you bring in a leaf, Allison can identify the damage, the bugs, or whatever. And also, potentially, I think she can help you figure out what spray is best. But as far as aerial spraying, we have no.
Okay, who does, is there any way to contact the person that does it? You probably don't have any knowledge of that either.
No.
A lot
It's
of.
part of, truthfully, it's part of where you live. It's just something that you accept.
Yeah, it didn't used to be, until just the last few years it's really gotten to be.
Yeah.
And it might be poisonous to even eat the food that grows out.
I don't know what to tell you other than Allison can help you with your own garden.
Okay.
She's helped me, yeah.
Thank
You're
you
welcome.
for letting me kind of air my.
I will. I do know, as not as far as the spraying is concerned, but as far as the gardening, I know you weren't alone last year. And my grandparents live here in town, and he normally gets 300 to 500 pounds of tomatoes a year, and he was same situation, had very, very few. I know other people that have apple trees, plum trees, and they got very few fruit here in town. So I think it might have been just something to do with the year last year, the climate. I don't know, but I know you're not alone in that.
I know that I'm not, and that's why I'm concerned.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Is there any other public comment? Anything online? Any other public comment? I will say that the first thing on the agenda is listed, TJ, resolution for Broadwater County Solid Waste District Business Assessment Fee Schedule. That will be scheduled for a later date. The Solid Waste Board and some public met last night, had a very good 2-hour working meeting to go over the business assessments. It was a very, very good meeting. So at some point, the next step for that is maybe another working meeting. It'll go back to the Solid Waste Board for their recommendation to the commission. So it'll be, I'm guessing, a few more weeks. No public comment? TJ Gravely, Public Works Director, resolution for annual temporary limitation on traffic.
Good morning, Commissioners. TJ Gravely, Public Works Director, GRAVELEY. As you guys well know, this was put into effect last year as an annual. This is just more of a reminder this is coming, effective March 15th. The weight restriction signs will be going up, and they will be off until the frost comes out, or May 31st, I believe is what I've got on here. Whichever is later. If you want, I can read this whole resolution, or I can give you the roads that will be affected.
That would be my
The whole thing?
No,
The
we
ro-
did that. We went through that. But the roads that will
Okay.
be affected.
I've really noticed, before I get into that, I've really noticed in the last week where these roads are really starting to break up. And we may have to amend this at a later date, but right now, the roads being affected in Broadwater County is Filson Road from Highway 287 to Beaver Creek, Rolling Glen Ranch Road, Lone Mountain Road from Hosfelt Road to the Hunsaker Corrals, Muddy Lane from Johnson Loop to 437, Highway 437, Ferret Lane from Highway 285 to Muddy Lane, Ray Creek Road, Flynn Lane from Dry Hollow to Nelson Road. That is all we have on there for right now. There is an exemption on here for propane, emergency vehicles, things like that. But that is all we have right now, and like I said, these will be up by the end of the week. They will start to be enforced by the 15th, which I believe is Saturday.
Is this on the website?
I think this is on the website.
Okay.
I will double check when I
Would
get
you?
back to the
That'd be
office.
great. Because I'm sure, the reason we put TJ, I'm sure people didn't realize this was an annual thing.
Right.
And the roads. So, I don't know.
And we kind of knew that I'd probably have to do this once or twice before people really got accustomed to the fact that this is the way we have to go. We had a big debacle down in a couple of roads where they completely, the bottom fell out of them, and they were basically closed to any traffic, not just heavy equipment traffic. The heavy equipment just flat destroyed the roads. I did make a phone call Monday. Corey Services is doing a bunch of riprap down on Magpie and Lower Hellgate, and they took our cut across road from the river bridge across Centerville, Canton, Delger. And these trucks are very heavily loaded. And I made a phone call and I got them routed back through town. So that was very simple. And most people are very good about this. They understand. They just don't want them. They give me an answer to a solution to the problem that I have. Okay? So it's been pretty good to start with. So moving forward.
I think I told TJ Monday, I took a drive on some country roads I hadn't been on, backside of the lake, and the roads are in really good condition.
So far.
Because I was way up, and I was surprised at how good they were.
I think Mr. Schindel might disagree with me on the Ray Creek 2-mile stretch right at the canal, but
I did not go on that road.
it's getting really
I
soft.
did not go on that one, but I did go on some others. So,
But as we drive around, we may have to do this on some other roads, make an amendment to it. Okay?
I don't have any questions, do you?
I don't either. Nope.
Thank
you,
you.
TJ. Next item on the agenda is the county agreement with Canyon Ferry Enterprises for lease of the boat slips. I'll give a little bit of background on this. The county is still involved down at the silos area, and when I say silos area, I mean the whole area, not just the KOA. With BOR, our involvement is now limited to the boat docks. This is the same agreement we've had for, I think, the last 3 years with Canyon Enterprises. Nothing in this agreement has changed. Kay looked it over. Kay Minor, Chief Deputy County Attorney, looked it over before she left. She's good with it. We get a small percentage. The county gets a small percentage of the dock fees that Canyon Enterprises gets. That money goes back to the trust board for all of their investments into the entire silos area. BOR has not, as of Monday, has not signed their agreement with Canyon Enterprise. So I would, if we want to move forward approving this, I would just like a caveat that this would be contingent on BOR's signing the agreement with Canyon Enterprises. I don't expect there to be any issues at all. BOR. I keep saying that wrong. Now I've got it in my head. They said last week they thought it would be done by now, and so did Esther. So it's just government being slow. We want to get this done as soon as possible because Canyon Enterprises has people wanting to reserve their boat slips. So we don't want to delay her. So that's some background on this. Jesse, do you have anything to add?
I don't. I looked through it because it was my first time seeing it, but it all looked pretty straightforward. And yeah.
At some point, the county will hopefully sell those boat slips either to Canyon Enterprises or whoever has that agreement next year with BOR. Or somebody else may want to buy them and move them somewhere. When that happens, those funds will go back to the trust board also. That's always been the agreement because they paid to have them floated over from Goose Bay several years ago. So is there a motion?
I would move to approve the county agreement with Canyon Enterprises for the lease of the boat slips with the contingency that the BOR approves it also.
I will second that motion. Is there any public comment? Any public comment? Any comment online? No. Okay. There's a motion to approve the agreement with Canyon Enterprises for the lease of the boat slips. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, same sign. We will get that signed and get them back to Canyon Enterprises once their other contract is signed or agreement. Ruby, now you're up.
Sorry, I can't read today.
Aye.
Hello, Ruby Taylor, Broadwater County Public Health, TAYLOR. I'm just here today to get the approval on the crisis diversion task order for July 2024 to June 2027. So it's 3 years of funding, and there is a breakdown of that funding on page 9, I believe it is. So essentially it's mostly wages for our crisis coordinator and then some crisis training for the community. And that training can also be used for like the hospital and entities around town to help build our capacity to deal with people in a crisis situation. So it's a total of $143,613.75 over the 3 years. And then it's broken down each fiscal year. as seen in the table on page 9. The only issue I saw in this contract that I will have the state correct once we get it signed is my email's incorrect. So, and K Minor did look this over for us prior to bringing it over, so she said everything looked good. And essentially this is going to be wages for my crisis coordinator to help her facilitate the coalition and all of the things that she's already doing. And then additionally, getting training resources for the citizens of Broadwater County to help mitigate issues with crisis intervention for mental health issues. So it's very vague, but there's a plan.
Ruby, is this the same amount that you've gotten in the past for this?
This is a brand new grant from
Okay,
the
that's
state.
why I was confused.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So this is a
Thank
brand
you.
new grant from the state. We have never had this particular task order or grant.
Okay. And is there a match?
No,
Those are the best kind.
it's great.
Okay, one more question. Will this come across as a DocuSign?
It is in Commissioner Rick
Okay.
Meyer's
She has it.
inbox as a DocuSign, yes.
Those were my questions.
So there's not a match.
No, it says that on the bottom, but I think there was some, there was a calculation that they did based on your ask for
Yeah.
a match, and ours didn't have a match.
Cool.
Okay.
Is this something like, I know maybe nothing's guaranteed, but do you expect that we'll get this?
Oh, we already have it.
We already, okay.
Yep. So since we're signing the task order, we've already been approved for
Oh,
this.
perfect.
All of that. I just need the task order signed so they can pay us.
Even better.
Exactly.
That's all I had.
Yeah.
Okay. Is there a motion?
I will move to approve the Public Health Director Crisis Diversion Grant Task Order. Do we want that long?
Oh, you got to read the number.
All right.
Oh, yeah.
Grant Task Order number, I guess you want to call it, HHS-BHDD-0114AP-B25-101-74033-0.
I'll second that.
Just a solid ditto there.
Is there any public comment?
Madam Chairman, Ruby, may I ask a question?
Of course.
Ruby, what are the reporting requirements on deliverables on this grant?
So the reporting requirements are it's a quarterly invoice. So we will send them like basically the wages that are to be paid out, which is half of Megan's wages. And because it supports the crisis coordinator at a 0.5 FTE. So it'll do half of her wages, and then whatever training we have put on or have sponsored through this grant, then I would report that back in the invoicing. And there's a sample of the invoice, I believe,
Page 10.
on page 10, which
Yeah, I haven't seen it. Can I ask another question?
Of course.
So so basically what this grant task order does is it provides funding. It's a very vague performance requirement.
there,
I mean, you're creating capacity on your staff for this function, and then whatever training you do, right? Okay.
and we have up to $20,000 to spend on the training specifically. And then the rest is wages.
Okay, and you said it's for 3 years then?
Yes.
Okay.
And then one of the things that Commissioner Rick Meyer and I have been discussing too is Bozeman, Gallatin County has asked for some help in funding the crisis call center because they do take our calls to the crisis center. And so with that funding, with this funding, there is potential with that $20,000. Like, I can't think of $20,000 worth of training necessarily that we could put on, especially like this year. So we may be able to reappropriate a little bit of this funding to help them. I just would need to talk to the state and I haven't had time to talk to them or discuss how amending this would look. But we have the funding there, so I don't see why they wouldn't allow that.
Okay.
So,
final question. Yeah, I know you want to vote on it. This is pass-through money from federal government through the state?
this is strictly state.
Strictly state, okay, thank
Yes.
you. That's all I need.
Perfect. And I had, I guess at the last conference, MACO conference, did talk to one of the Gallatin County Commissioners about this. He asked, and I should have followed up with you. So they do need the funds, and it's a really good partnership. So if we can help them, I would be all for that.
Yes, and so I'm more than happy to look at that because I think we could do a lot of good with the training money that we have here, or the funds that we have to offer trainings in the community. But the 988 Center is integral to that too. So if they would be have to make cuts based on their funding, and that would affect our people as well. So I think that it's a fair trade to some extent. The thing that Commissioner Rickmeyer and I have been discussing is what would be a fair buy-in for us based on our usage of that line as a county. So there's a little bit more math on that we're working on.
But it does definitely help our residents.
Yes.
Yep. I don't have any other questions.
Nope.
Is there a motion?
We already made it.
Oh, yeah, we did.
I'm not doing it again.
I know. I'm looking at my notes. I'm like, that's
Sorry.
checked off. And I'm not going to read it again. So, Angie, I'll give you the paperwork. There's a motion and a second to approve the task force submitted. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign.
Perfect. Thank you guys so
Thank
much.
Thank you.
And then will you let Commissioner Rickmeyer know that this was okay? Perfect. Just making sure.
Yeah.
Making sure all my lines are
Yep.
closed.
We have something else on the agenda that for today. It's the airport board had a special meeting Friday afternoon. Their fuel system is completely shut down, and it's a urgent matter to get that back up and operating. They've been trying to fix it for years, and piecing it together, and it is now out of service. They got 2 quotes. I got to commend the airport board. They jumped on this. And I think, as most people know, there's going to be a big remodel project out there starting soon. And they have a lot of fuel that they've already bought, so they need to sell it. And we want pilots to know if they land here, they can get fuel. So the airport board got 2 bids, one from QT Pod for $25,000 installed, and another one from Petrovend for $34,000 installed. They did their due diligence. They talked to both companies. In the meeting, we talked to Energy Systems, who is expert in this whole process, and the airport board voted to go with QT Pod equipment. Their motion in the meeting, which was approved, is to spend up to $30,000 because there will be some additional add-ons. This equipment is $24,232.06. So they gave themselves a little wiggle room. They know when it's installed, something else may need to be added. I'm not that familiar with it, but there's a display aspect of it that's not working very well, so they could replace that, which would benefit all the pilots, is my understanding. The airport board has this money. What has to be sent out today, if this is approved, is the deposit, half of it, and this could be taken care of within a week, maybe faster. So we added that to today's plan because of the urgent matter of it. Jesse, do you have any questions on this?
No. No, they've been doing a great job getting on this as fast as they did. So. And
with 48, literally maybe 50 hours notice, we have to have 48 hours notice for a meeting. But with about 50 hours notice, we had every single board member there Friday afternoon. So they are very dedicated. So I will make the motion, just because I have paperwork in front of me, for the Broadwater County Airport. And this is for Townsend Airport. It does not have to do with Canyon Ferry. Just should make that clear. To approve up to $30,000 from the airport board for the purchase of QT pod equipment, and anything else that needs to go up to that, up to $30,000. Is there a second?
I second that.
Any public comment?
Madam Chairman,
Of course.
I sat in on the meeting on Friday, and prior to the meeting, we looked at the budget. We know they have resources in their CIP, but what we're going to try to do is absorb this into their operating budget, and then see what happens at toward the end of the year. But the amount of detailed review of the proposed bids is pretty remarkable. They did a great job. As a budget director, I love it when I see people squeezing it as much as they possibly can to make sure they have the right equipment that's sustainable and it's the least cost. So I would urge you to approve the request.
And I think, Bill, you might correct me if I'm wrong, as of the end of second quarter, the airport board has only spent 25% of their budget. So they're very conservative.
Yeah, and I think that's, Madam Chairman, I think that is because of the seasonal nature of the operations. What's of concern to me is the revenue side. I mean, if you can't sell fuel, you're not going to get the revenues they expect. So they're running a good budget, and they deserve to get this thing fixed and making it available. My understanding is that we develop a negative reputation in the aviation community if we don't have the ability to fuel planes that drop in and need fuel. So yeah, from a budget standpoint, they're in great shape. I think they'll be able to absorb it, but certainly they have the CIP backup if they need it.
So there's a motion and a second to approve the airport board purchase of $30,000 for the fuel system. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, same sign. Motion passes. We will get that signed today and check in the mail so they can start selling fuel. I don't have anything else on that I need to go through other than paperwork. We have minutes from February 5th. We can, I think, approve these together. And February 19th and March 5th.
I move to approve the minutes from February 5th, February 19th, and March 5th.
I'll second that motion. Is there any public comment? Any public comment? Any public comment? All those in favor of approving the minutes from February 5th, February 19th, and March 5th signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, same sign. And
Do you
yeah,
want these?
Angie, we'll have Commissioner Rickmeyer sign those when she gets back. We have quite a few claims to approve today, or to look at. The first claim is for $12,116.03.
I move to approve the claim in the amount of $12,116.03.
Any public comment? Any public comment? All those, there's a motion to approve the claims and set amount. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. The next set of claims is for $21,548.39. I will move to approve the claims and set amount.
I second.
Any public comment? Any public comment online? No. There's a motion and a second to approve the claims. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion passes. I'm trying to find this pen. I have a good pen, I'm not used to it. Next set of claims is for payroll, which is $278,584.02.
I move to approve the claims in the amount of $278,584.02.
I'll second that. Is there any public comment? Any public comment? There's been a motion and a second to approve the claims in said amount. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion passes. We have another payroll claim for $274,962.39. Is there a motion?
I move to approve the claims in the amount of $274,962.39.
I'll second the motion. Any public comment? Any public comment? Any public comment? There's a motion and a second to approve the payroll claims in said amount. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Last set of claims is for $50,000 even. I will move to approve the claims in the amount of $50,000.
I second.
Is there any public comment on the last set of claims for today? Any public comment? Any public comment? There's a motion and a second to approve the claims for $50,000. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. I don't have anything else. I don't have any announcements other than what we already discussed. Oh, do you want to give a, for the Parks and Rec, the next public meeting?
Yeah, so the meeting for Thursday, that was going to be kind of the town hall style meeting. We canceled that, and we are going to be sending out another survey to try to get more public input. The survey is going to have the results from the previous survey. We'll have the results from it and also kind of a mock-up drawing of some of the possible scenarios for the land out on Centerville and on Canton. So look for that coming through, kind of however we found out about the last survey. We're going to send out emails as much as possible. I believe there's going to be a TextMyGov going out with a link to the survey. So get on there and get your input as much as possible for it.
And just to repeat, the meeting for this Thursday is canceled.
Correct.
It was scheduled at the school.
Yep, and there will be a sign posted on the community
Perfect.
room door, so
Okay,
in
that's
case
all I
anybody
have.
does show up. And then the last set of the Sheriff Mill Levy's meetings is tonight
That's right.
in Three Forks, or at the that's
Headwaters.
Thank you, Headwaters auction,
At 6 o'clock.
6 o'clock, and that will be live streamed also.
That's all I have. Anything else? Wow, that was... We'll adjourn at 10:37.